Hello, today I'm gonna read this part 2 of this book that called Stars of Mine. You know this, I read this, what is it called?
Page.
No.
G. Yesterday.
No.
Igor. Then yesterday.
Yesterday, I read this book. I read this book, and now I'm gonna read part 2 of this book for you. And I'm at chapter 6, so I'm gonna read it for you. Now, chapter 6. So they came to the last day of the month, but when the imp returned in the evening with a wool. Ain't you guessing my name yet? It said, it is Barbabs. The girl said, no it ain't. The imp said, it is Samuel. She said, no it ain't. Oh well, it's Zamibin. Baba, Amacha, Amazon. Zamabibs, said she. No, it ain't that either, it said, and then it looked at the girl with eyes like burning coals. Woman, it said, there's only tomorrow evening, and then you will be mine. And away it flew. Well, the girl felt so afraid. Soon she heard a king coming along the passage. When he had walked into the room and seen the wool, he said, well, my dear, as far as I can see, you will have your wool spun tomorrow too. I reckon I won't have to kill you with you. Then if the king's servants came with a supper and another stool for him, and the two of them sat down together. The king had only eaten a couple of bites when he pushed back his stool and waved his knife and fork and began to laugh. What is it? Asked the girl. I will tell you, said the king. I was out hunting today and I got lost. I came to a place in the forest that I never seen before. That was an old pit there, and I heard a sort of humming. So I got off my horse and creeped up to the edge of the pit and looked down. And do you know what I saw? The oddest little black imp you ever set eyes on. And what did I have but the little spinning wheel? It was spinning and spinning faster than you couldn't believe. It spun and it twisted its tail, and as it spun, it sang, Nimmy, nimmy, not. My name is Tommy Titty Tot. When the girl heard this, she felt as if she could have jumped out of her skin of joy, but she didn't say a word. Chapter 7. Next morning, the small little black thing looked as wicked as wicked would. It came for the wool. Just before it grew dark, she heard a knock at the window again. She opened the window and it came right on to the sill. It was grinning from her to air. Its tail twirling around so fast. What's my name? It said. As it gave her the spoonful. It's Solomon, she said, and she pretended to be afraid. Well, it's Zeb-Edie, she said again. No, it ain't, said the imp, and then it laughed and twisted its tail so fast you couldn't hardly see it. Take your time, woman, it said. Next guess and you will be mine. And it stretched out its black hands tomorrow. The girl backed away a step or two. She looked at it, and then she laughed and pointed a finger at it and sang out, Nimmy, nimmy, not. Your name is Tom thought. Well, when the imp heard her, it gave an awful shriek, and away it flew into the dark. She never saw it again. Chapter 8. So that was the end of Tom Tit-Tot. For 11 more months, the girl ate as much food as she likes. She bought all the dresses she wanted. She had all the friends and music and wishes. And then her husband said to her, "Well, my dear, that's been 11 months. Tomorrow you will have to begin again and spin your 5 sacks of wool every day." The girl recommended her husband had clean forgotten about the wool, and now she didn't know what to do. She couldn't count on Tom Tit-Tot again, and she couldn't spin a mite herself. Her head would have to come off. Poor girl, she sat down on a stool in the kitchen, and she cried as if her heart would break. All the once the girl heard a knock at the door, so she got up and unlocked it. There stood a yispy woman as brown as a berry. "Well, what's this to do?" The yispy woman said. "What are you crying like that for?" "Get away, you yispy woman," said the girl. "Don't you poke your nose in where I is. It's no use. Tell me what's wrong, and maybe I shall be some use," said the woman, and she looked so kind that the girl told her, "Is that all?" The woman said, "I will help people out the worse than that. Now I will help you." بابا أتواني والله بأذرة وجبخت بوتي تشاو قردم. That's so much. But what will you ask for helping me?" said the girl. She was thinking of how she almost given herself away to the wicked little black imp. "I won't want anything but the best suit of clothes you got," said the yispy. "You shall have them, and welcome," said the girl. She ran and opened the chest where her best dresses and things were. She gave a fine dress to the woman and a ring of yellow gold. Well, the girl said to herself, "If she had a cheat and she can't help me, then my head will be cut off, so I won't marry anyone if they giving away my best gown." The woman was thrilled when she saw the gown. "Now then," she said, "you will have to ask all the people you know to a fine party, and I will come it too. Then your problems will all be over." Chapter 9. The girl went to her husband. "My dear," she said, sitting as this, is it the last night before I go away to spin? I should like to have a party." "All right, my dear," said the king. So the people were all asked, and they came to their best clothing. There were scales and satins and all manner of fine things. They had a grand supper with the best of foods, and they enjoyed tumblers a great deal. But the yispy woman never came near the place. The girl's heart was there in her mouth with fear. One of the lords grew tired of dancing. He said it wasn't long till midnight, and it was time to go. No, stay a little longer," said the girl. "Let's have a game of blind man buff before you go." So they began to play. Just then the door flew open, and in came the yispy woman. She washed herself and brushed her hair and wouldn't setting around her head with the grand gown. She looked like a queen. Stars of mine, said the king. Who's that? Oh, she said, one of my friends, said the girl, and she watched to see what the Risby would do. Are you playing blind man, Buff? Blind man, Buff, said the Risby. I join you in with you. And so she did, but what was in her pocket but a little pot of black oil. As she ran around, she dipped her hand in this oil and smeared it in on people as she brushed past. It wasn't long before someone cried out, "Oh Lord, there's some nasty stuff on my gown. Why, it's on my dress. Why, it's on my dress too," said another. "That must have to come of you." "No, it didn't. You've put it on me." And then everyone began to shoot and square. The ladies cried and the gentlemen shouted, and all their fine clothes were smelled of oil. Chapter 10. The king stepped forward. "Why, what's this?" he said. "There's a great mark on the silver of his coat." He smelled it and turned up his nose. "That's oil from a cart," he said. "No, it isn't," said the Gisby woman. "That came from off my hand. It's greasy from my spinning wheel. You see," she said, "I'm a great spinner. I spun and spun and spun. I got so good that I couldn't spin 5 sacks of wool in one day. And because I spun so much, the oil worked into my hands." The Gisby waved her hands above her head. "Now it doesn't matter how often I wash them," she said. "They still won't come clean. I dirty everything I touch. I hope your wife doesn't spin as much as I do. If she does, the oil will get into her hands just like mine." The king looked at his coat and he rubbed it, and sniffed at it. And then he looked at his wife. "Look there, my dear," he said, "and listen to what I say. If I see you sit down at a spinning wheel one more time, your head will come off." So the girl never had a spin again, and that's all. And that was all for this book, and that was all. That was all the pages on this book, and this book was good, fun, and easy to read. And I'm gonna say bye bye.